All right, hello everyone. Thanks for watching. I am going to go over the first match I played in my January Premodern Online monthly tournament. For this match, the audio was kind of had like an echo, or the quality wasn't very good. So I'm going to try and do commentary over it to see how that works. So if you have any feedback of whether you like it in this format or you prefer just the traditional, just play when people are playing, this format does take a lot more work for me, but if people are really enjoying the commentary and think it's a better quality, then it might be something I might do more frequently. If anyone doesn't know how the Premodern monthly tournament works, so you sign up online. There's a Facebook group that we have, Premodern Online Play. I'll put a link in the description. And so you sign up. Usually they go on at the end of the month, and you get put into the tournament, and then you get paired up into different groups. And so within those groups are the people that you play, and you can schedule on your own time when you want to play it. So it's not like you have to set one day out of the month to play all your matches in one weekend or something. You can figure it out. Okay, I'm going to do this on a weeknight with somebody who's in the same location, and then when I play with someone who's halfway across the world, we're going to do it on the weekend when our time zones line up better. So even if maybe your schedule is you have a lot of stuff going on the weekend or some weekends, you still might be able to fit stuff in. So if it's something that sounds interesting, maybe give it a try. All you really need is a webcam and a pre-modern deck, and we play all of our matches usually through Skype, or Whereby is just a website where you can just log in and play all the games. That's the website that I use. So if you guys have any questions, just let me know. But it's pretty straightforward. Like once you get your first match, then you're pretty comfortable doing it. It's a little. I was a little nervous at first, but after I did it the first time, I'm pretty comfortable with it afterwards. So I'm gonna play back the recording of this, and I think I have it sped up a little just to try and cut out some of the dead time. But I'll see if I'll be able to continue the commentary. All right, so here we go. So the deck that I'm playing this month is a Storm combo deck. It is pretty similar to the list that used to be pretty popular before Yawgmoth's Bargain was banned. And since it's been banned, I pretty much took the same shell of the deck and obviously cut the Yawgmoth's Bargain. And instead, I just put Chain of Vapors in. And the deck, when I played it the first time, I played it almost a year ago at this time in one of the monthlies. I found out that half the time when I was playing, wasn't going off with the Yawgmoth's Bargain anyways. So I kind of wanted to try and see it in the new state without Yawgmoth's Bargain if it could still contest. So um, I was newer with the hand cam here, so hopefully I get things adjusted. It looks like I was kind of shaking. So the cards in my hand, I have Duress, Brain Freeze, Chain of Vapor, Undiscovered Paradise, Swamp, Intuition, and Opt. And I played a Polluted Delta. Pedro leads with Savannah Lions. So I played Pedro, I think, 2 times before in the monthlies, and the first time he played Pink Prison, and then the second time he played Elves. So I guess I was thinking maybe he'd play one of those two decks, but obviously leading off with Savannah Lions, it's something completely different. On his second turn, he played Riverboa, so he also played a Mistress Factory, which is something that I'm not familiar with. If I just saw those two creatures, then I probably would have thought he'd be playing like the Three Deuce list or the Naya Zoo. But seeing the Mistress Factory, that mana base really can't support a colorless land. So I'm thinking he's just like a green-white beatdown at this point. I'm not really sure of the list. I haven't seen decks that are really this style. So on my second turn, I'm playing Duress, and he's going to show a Curse Scroll, a Mother of Runes, another Mistress Factory, and a Brushland. So obviously I'm taking the Curse Scroll. I'm kind of just going to set up the way that typically the combo works is I'm going to resolve an Intuition and get 3 ill-gotten gains. So 2 of them will go to the graveyard and 1 will go to my hand. And then if I'm able to have ritual effects, either with Cabal Ritual with Threshold and or Lion's Eye Diamond, then I'm able to net mana for each loop and also build the Storm count. And so then I would cast Ill-Gotten Gains a couple times, and then one of the times I would get back Intuition and also get back an Ill-Gotten Gains and then another mana source, probably Cabal Ritual at that point. So I build up some mana, and then I'll cast Intuition and get 3 Brain Freeze, and then I'll be able to cast Ill-Gotten Gains one more time and get a second Brain Freeze, and then usually I have enough mana and enough Storm to storm someone out. So that's like typically how the combo goes, but then it can kind of change throughout there depending on what the opponent does. So I just cast a Chain of Vapor, just bouncing the Riverbow back just to shorten his clock. I'm at 13, and he is at. I mean, his life total doesn't really matter. I'm never going to deal his damage. So he has two factories, Mother Runes Alliance, so he can attack for 1, 2, 3, 4. If he has another land, which I think I know he does from the Duress, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm pretty sure I have another turn if I'm at 13 from here. So I'm gonna just play a land, and I'm probably at this. I'm just gonna cast Intuition and get the 3 ill-gotten gains. I really need a Lion's Eye Diamond or a Cabal Ritual for this to work pretty well. I do have the option of kind of doing a mini storm and then casting Brain Freeze on myself, and that would fill up my graveyard, and that give me another chance of when I do cast the ill-gotten gains that if I'm able to get back some of those cards that I need. So he just attacks for 6. He's not attacking the Mother Runes, and he's going to play a Premodern Paradise, and then I don't know if he said he was done or if he's gonna cast. Yeah, I think he's done. So I'm casting Intuition, and I think I just get 3 ill-gotten gains here. So the cards in my hand right now are Duress, Brain Freeze, Dark Ritual, and I think maybe a land. Uh, so I don't have just something where I can like just naturally do the loop with 3 ill-gotten gains. So I think at this spot, if I so I can't. Let me, if I'm casting Dark Ritual, that gives me 3 mana, it takes away my swamp, and then I have 2 additional mana there. So that's only 5. So the thing is, if I cast ill-gotten gains, I could get back a Dark Ritual, but I'm not really netting any mana. I'm losing mana because I'm getting through. I don't have any other rituals. So I think I'm trying to think: is there a permutation that I could get something else? But I think it would just rely on him messing up, which I wasn't willing to take the chance. I think I'm just going to say here I'm going to try and draw a Lion's Eye Diamond or a Cabal Ritual, and I can't see what I have. So Brain Freeze, Duress, Ill-Gotten Gains, Intuition, Dark Ritual, Swamp. So I have, with the Swamp, I have 4 mana. With the Ritual, it's +2, so that's 6. So I can Ill-Gotten Gains and have 2 additional mana. So if I were to cast the Brain Freeze, then I'm out of mana, and I can't go off from there. I guess I could get. I mean, even like I can't use up my cards getting like Lotus Petal and Dark Ritual or something. So I need to have 2 mana after casting the Ill-Gotten Gains to cast a Cabal Ritual. Because if it's starting off with a Lion's Eye Diamond, that won't net you mana until after you've cast the Ill-Gotten Gains. So I don't think there's really anything I can do, and I'm just trying to think about if there's anything I could do. And I mean, right now I can't think of anything. I think so. If I only run 3 Chain of Vapor in the main, so if I hadn't played one of the Chain of Vapors, if I'm at 7, I guess he still has Mother of Runes. So if he would have attacked with everything, attack for 6, and then Mother Runes would see 7. I'd be either Chain of Vapor, but I've already used a Chain of Vapor, so I can't like Intuition for a Chain of Vapor, because he just gives me one of the other cards and then I die. So I have 3 mana, Dark Ritual. I think I don't know what I'm getting with the Intuition here. I think I need to. I guess if it's just 3 Cabal Rituals, then is that enough? I think the problem is, so since I don't have a Lion's Eye Diamond in this loop, this only gives me black mana, and eventually I'm going to want to cast Brain Freeze or another Intuition. So here I have 1 excess mana that could make blue, but I think I need 2, because I would need to Intuition and then Brain Freeze, or cast 2 Brain Freeze. So I don't think I'm able to continue the loop, because if I cast Ill-Gotten Gains, I go down to 1 black mana, and then I have an additional mana, and I can get Cabal Ritual back. But then if I tap out all my mana, I just don't have any blue. So I think I'm just kind of stuck here. So he's got to discard his hand. I don't know if he had anything, but he gets a Curse Scroll, a River Boa. Was it a River Boa? And I think it was a Birds of Paradise. Yeah, it was a River Boa because I bounced it earlier. So here, I mean, if I would have realized that I would have screwed up, then I just would have conceded, and maybe he might not have realized what I was playing. But um, I think when I started doing this, I was thinking that I would be able to combo off, and then I kind of realized, nope, I'm dead. So the white green creatures and the lands killed me. So I mean, his draw, it wasn't slow per se, but it wasn't super fast. It definitely wasn't disruptive. He didn't do anything to hinder me. So I kind of was clunky and didn't do anything that game. So when I'm looking at my sideboard, I think a lot of times I don't put my cards in front of the camera. Um, Part of it is I have a proxy Chain of Vapor. I had ordered it and I hadn't received it by the time we were playing our matches, and so I had asked him if it was a problem me playing with a proxy in my sideboard, and I don't think any of my opponents cared. So if you see a card, I think I used like a some onslaught card that I drew over. That is the fourth copy of Chain of Vapor that I have in the sideboard. I think I'm taking out, or at least considering taking out Duress, because the white-green interaction usually it's not like a counter spell or something that I'm really worried about. I'm more worried about something like a Tormod's Crypt. So I think I brought in the Chain of Vapor. I think I bring in two Hurkyl's Recall, and I might actually be bringing in a Hunting Pack. So Hunting Pack is a 7 mana instant that makes a 4/4 beast token for each first, and then a Storm. So I think this spot is just kind of like, because he's not gonna have any way to respond to a bunch of beasts, that if it's just another way of killing him. I'm not sure because I mean his deck's kind of quick, but I just thought it might be easier than building up a bunch of storms sometimes. I also was kind of worried since he is playing green. I'm always having Gaia's Blessing on my mind, so because that was one thing we were worried about. It seemed like more people had been playing Gaia's Blessing, so I was afraid that Brain Freeze wasn't going to do anything because obviously if you cast Brain Freeze and they Gaia's Blessing, it's just going to shuffle everything back. So in my main deck, I have a copy of Planar Void, and that's a black enchantment, and it says whenever a card will be put into the graveyard, exile it. The thing is, though, um, it is not a replacement effect. It is a trigger. So if I am casting Storm on my turn, my trigger for the Planar Void will go on the stack first, and then the Gaia's Blessing will go on the stack. So the three cards that are milled from that individual Brain Freeze copy will get shuffled back, but then any subsequent copies of Brain Freeze are gonna, if they don't have a Gaia's Blessing in them, they're gonna get exiled. So it's kind of effective, but if I am able to storm off or like have a small storm on their turn after I storm off, then I would just exile his cards because his trigger would go on first if he's the active player, and then mine would go on. So I think he drew a starting 7 in Mulligan. I'm looking at an island in play, island in my hand, an opt, Dark Ritual, Lion's Eye Diamond, Brain Freeze, and Lotus Petal. So he plays the birds. I don't cast the opt because I'm not gonna go off on turn 2. It's very unlikely. So I'm just gonna wait to draw my next card before I'm casting opt. Just have another card of information. So he has 3 mana. He's casting an Anka Mishra, so all my lands are gonna add to my clock. So I have to be kind of wary of dealing too much damage to myself. I mean, I usually don't play too many lands, but sometimes the games can go long, and obviously having that mana helps. It makes it a lot easier to go off if you have 5 lands in play, let's say. So from that opt, I think I got another Lotus Petal. I didn't see if I put it on the top or bottom. I think I probably put something on the bottom. So here I'm casting Mental Note. I put a Sleight of Hand and a Lion's Eye Diamond in my graveyard, and then I cast a Sleight of Hand. So the Lion's Eye Diamond is good. Though I think I already have one in my hand, but it just that was one of the pieces that I was missing is that 3 mana ritual effect from the earlier game of having that in the loop to generate mana when I'm casting Ill-Gotten Gains. So I've added another Lion's Eye Diamond in my hand. So I have 2 in my hand and 1 in the graveyard. I don't have an Ill-Gotten Gain. So basically the card I want to draw right now is Intuition, because that would allow me to put 2 Ill-Gotten Gains in my graveyard and 1 in my hand, and then I have 2 Lion's Eye Diamond after I cast the Ill-Gotten Gains. So I just would have 6 mana after that. And so every time I'm casting an Ill-Gotten Gains, I'm netting, let's see, it's 4, and I would get 6, so I'm netting 2 mana every loop. So he has played a Rancor on a Mother of Runes. So his clock is, from the creatures, is a lot slower, but then obviously the Ankh Mishra does a little bit of work. And then he is playing a Curse Scroll, which I'm not too worried about. The only thing is like, I have to be worried if I go down to low enough life and then try and Brain Freeze him out. He still will get an upkeep and would be able to activate Curse Scroll. So that's really the thing. I don't think it's going to do too much damage, but if I'm at 2, then I have to worry about Brain Freezing him out. I draw another land, and I didn't play the Polluted Delta because of the Ankh Mishra. It would just deal me 2 damage, and I'd have to take another 2 damage to get the land into play. So I figured the 4 damage wasn't worth the extra mana, so I just keep it in my hand. The card he played was Tangle Wire, so that makes things a lot more difficult because it's just cutting 3 mana off. It's very fortunate that I have Lion's Eye Diamond in my hand, because that is a card that also I have, well, Lotus Petal would tap to sack, but the Lion's Eye Diamond I'm able to just play and then have permanents that I can tap to Tangle Wire and then still use. So I'm at 9 right now, and he has 5 power. So I'm trying to figure out what turn. I mean, I potentially, I can't go off this turn because I just don't have any way to like continue the loop. I can make a bunch of mana and I can Brain Freeze, but that's not going to mill him out, and I don't have anything to do with all that mana. So I think I am thinking how many of these Lotus Petals or Lion's Eye Diamonds that I need to play in order to have the next turn the Tangle Wire be less effective. And I want to keep as many cards in my hand to build the Storm. So I think I'm just thinking about what is the minimum number of permanents that I have to put into play to allow me to go off. And so I'm thinking, so if the Tangle Wire starts at 4, so now it's going to be on 3 next turn, I'm going to tap 2 Lion's Eye Diamond and 1 land. I think I need to play a Lotus Petal. Okay. So I'll tap 3 permanents, so I'll have 3 mana from either the lands and or the Lotus Petal, but then also the Lion's Eye Diamond. So the card I need Intuition is the best card because I have a bunch of mana and I'd be able to get 3 Ill-Gotten Gains. 1 Ill-Gotten Gains might be enough because I could cast a bunch of the rituals, the Lotus Petal, and then cast Ill-Gotten Gains and then respond with the Brain Freeze targeting myself, and then I'd probably mill like 15 cards and would probably get 1 or 2 more Ill-Gotten Gains or maybe an Intuition, and then have enough mana to start the loop. So he just attacks and plays another Birds and passes the turn. So I'm tapping 2 Lion's Eye Diamond, and then I think I should just tap a land, because if I'm going off a Lotus Petal, if this is like the last turn, which I'm assuming it is, because I guess I could get Chain of Vapor, but if he has lethal damage. So I draw Ill-Gotten Gains, so that was one of really the 2 cards I needed, either Intuition or Ill-Gotten Gains. So I'm going to play the Lotus Petal, Ritual, Ill-Gotten Gains, and then cast Brain Freeze. So that should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 copies of Brain Freeze, and I think I target myself with all of these. So 15 additional cards. And so I do have a lot of mana because I have plus 6 mana after I cast an Ill-Gotten Gains because of the Lion's Eye Diamond. All right, so I'm holding priority. I'm casting Ill-Gotten Gains, and then I'm doing Brain Freeze in response. And that way, because Ill-Gotten Gains is a sorcery, and this way I am getting an additional Storm copy of Brain Freeze. So I just have one card in hand. I just have a Polluted Delta right now, but I'm looking to mill Intuitions or well, Intuition. It would be enough because I have one black mana floating, and then a Lotus Petal, and then a Gemstone Mine. But there's an Ill-Gotten Gains, and it's hard to see. I don't know if there was one or two. So he was just asking whether Lineside Diamond needed to tap to sacrifice, and I didn't think so, but I wanted to check. I don't know if they'd been errated for some reason. It's so so he's looking it up on his phone, and I think we come to the conclusion that you do not need to tap them to sacrifice them. So I definitely see one Ill-Gotten Gains, and I think there's an Intuition. So I think I'm gonna get Intuition, Ill-Gotten Gains, probably another mana producer. Okay. So yeah, if you have enough blue mana, then Cabal Rituals. I mean, they both net 3 mana if you have Threshold, but it's easier to do a Cabal Ritual just because you can cast it right away as compared to Lineside Diamond. You have to break in response to because if I can't do it in response to casting the Intuition, I mean I probably might have enough mana anyways because then I'd be discarding one of those Ill-Gotten Gains. So the ritual's a lot easier. So cast the ritual, cast Intuition. I have so there's only two more Ill-Gotten Gains, but I can if I have one in my hand, so might as well put them in the yard. And I think I get a Brain Freeze, yeah. So I'm I can go off easily at this point. I can do three more Ill-Gotten Gains, and the storm's already at 7. And every time I do a Ill-Gotten Gains loop, it's +3 storm and like plus 2 mana. So and then the last Ill-Gotten Gains would be able to give back 2 Brain Freezes, so that'd be like 15 and 16 storms. So plenty. I think maybe there's one point I'm maybe just a little worried is there a way that I can play around Tormod's Crypt? And I don't know if I left or not Tormod's Crypt, sorry, Guy's Blessing. I don't think I left the Planar Void. So yeah, I just talk about the combo and he packs up. So a little bit of sigh relief because I mean, not that it would make sense really for him to run a Guy's Blessing in his green-white aggro deck, but it was something on my mind, and he had green mana, and it was something I was thinking about. So I was happy that when he picked it up after me just talking about casting two of the Brain Freezes. So I don't know if I'm making any changes, if I'm just looking at my sideboard. I don't think I did anything different. So that game, his draw was a little slower, and then also, like the very last turn, I drew what I needed. So that was pretty lucky. So I saw two different components that I hadn't seen in game one. I had seen Ankar Mishra, which probably is a sideboard card, but then I saw Tangle Wire. So that's a card I need to be conscious of in terms of if I think I'm going to go off the next turn, what's going to happen if he casts a Tangle Wire in that spot. So it's something that I might want to proactively cast my Lineside Diamond, like I did I didn't do it proactively in this game, but just so that I'm able to tap those and have more access from my lands, more mana access from my lands, so they don't get tapped down with the Tangle Wire. Other than that, I think everything seemed pretty normal. Yeah, the Mother of Runes I guess they're okay if I'm planning on Chain of Vaporing stuff but it's a 1/1 isn't that big of a deal. So he is mulliganing, I am mulliganing as well. I think that is probably a lot better for me than a little bit better for me, I guess, especially if I'm in the draw. Just the extra card in my hand doesn't make that big of a difference, but like seeing 7 new cards and trying to get, I mean, really, what you want is to have a couple rituals, get Threshold, and then be able to cast Intuition for 3 Ill-Gotten Gains. And this hand has a Sleight of Hand, Gemstone Mine, the City Brass, a Mental Note, a Dark Ritual, and Illigan Gains, and so it has a ritual, but it's like a small one. I want Cabal Ritual, but I have two of my filter effects. Mental Note will help build Threshold, and Drawing Island is really nice because I have a Gemstone Mine and a City Brass, and one of those is either going to die or the other one's going to take damage, and neither of those I really want to do. So drawing the island right away makes it a lot easier. I'm casting the Sleight of Hand. I think maybe it's a little bit better to cast Mental Note because then I have a little more information of what's in my graveyard in terms of when I'm making the decision of, because Mental Note you don't make a choice, you just draw a random card. And if I have two more cards in my graveyard, that might change what I want to Sleight of Hand for, because if I have ill-gotten gains. But I don't know the reason why I opted for the Sleight of Hand instead of the Mental Note. So here I have, if I have Threshold, then Cabal Ritual is a +3, so that I have +3, +6, +2 from the 3 rituals, 2 Cabal Rituals and 1 Dark Ritual. So I have a lot of mana, but it's a lot of black mana. Okay, Lion's Eye Diamond will help me get blue mana in the loop. So really I just need an Intuition here, or I do have a Brain Freeze, so I can kind of do what I did in the game before and do a mini Storm, cast Ill-Gotten Gains, target myself with a Brain Freeze, hope to get an Intuition or a bunch of Ill-Gotten Gains, and then go off from there. The pressure that Pedro's played is Thornscape Apprentice, so that's a green mana for a 1/1, and it has 2 abilities: white to tap a creature, and white and tap it, or to tap a creature, or red and tap it to give a creature first strike. So the 1-power creatures are not that good against me because it's pretty much just a race from his point of view, and those are much slower than like a Savannah Lions or any of his other 2-power guys. So he's just attacking for 2. I'm not really in any danger of creature damage. So here's a Tangle Wire. So that's one of the cards that does make a difference. So that's going to slow me down. Thankfully, he doesn't have a lot of pressure, because if he had a bunch of 2-power guys, then he's attacking for 6 a turn or something, and then the clock's a lot faster, and I'm in a lot more trouble. But here I can kind of sit back and just build up my, hopefully draw more lands, or build up, play the Lion's Eye Diamond, have more cards to tap, and so I drew another Lion's Eye Diamond. So kind of like the last game, I have 2 cards to play. So if I am looking at going off next turn, if the Tangle Wires tap 3 permanents and I play 2 Lion's Eye Diamond, I tap 2 Lion's Eye Diamond and then 1 land. So I would have 2 mana start, which I would have 1 black, and then I want blue, I guess, for the Brain Freeze, and then so I think I'm able to go off next turn. Pretty not for sure, because I am brain freezing myself to get cards in the graveyard, so it is dependent on that. So it's not just a deterministic kill, but this hand looks like it can win next turn, but the question is do I want to wait? And if he has 1, 2, 3, 4 creatures with power, I don't see any Mishra's Factories. He has a 2 curse scrolls, but I think he probably only can activate 1. So I'm really only looking at 6 damage. So I didn't play the Lion's Eye Diamonds last turn, so I'm not going off. But I'm playing 1 Lion's Eye here. I probably should just play the second. I don't know if I'm worried about. I don't know what I'm really worried about. I don't know what the downside of casting the Lion's Eye Diamond here. I get 1 less Storm, but I think it basically gives me a mana because of the Tangle Wire that's in play. So like any of the creatures or creature enchantments are fine. I think the only card I don't want to see is like another Tangle Wire. So he just attacks for 4. I go to 7, and he passes the turn. I'm tapping 2 Lion's Eye Diamond, and I draw an Ill-Gotten Gains. So that makes it pretty good. I'm trying to think if I have enough Storm to just. So I have 1 Dark Ritual. So I have a ton of mana. So the question is, like, right now, just with the Storm, am I able to cast Ill-Gotten Gains, Brain Freeze, targeting him, get back the Brain Freeze and the Ill-Gotten Gain. Yeah, because I could do it 3 times. Uh, so I just need 1 blue mana because I 1 blue mana for the first Brain Freeze, and then when I cast the Ill-Gotten Gains, I'm able to respond by cracking the Lion's Eye Diamond, and that'll give me blue mana. Because the black mana is easy to get from all the Cabal Rituals and Dark Rituals. So Storm's at 2. Oh, I think maybe the Cabal Ritual wasn't Threshold yet. Is this one Threshold? Oh, so here I'm casting Cabal Ritual, and then in response, casting Brain Freeze, targeting myself so that I get Threshold. So I milled 12 cards. There's a Brain Freeze in there, and I don't really see anything else that is super relevant, but I don't think I need anything if, because I'm going to get a bunch of mana. I think I had something going on upstairs or something that I'm stepping away from my seat. So here I'm resolving the Cabal Ritual that I responded to, getting mana, and here I'm casting Lion's Eye Diamond. I'm going to get 6 mana. I'm going to get back a Lion's Eye Diamond, or I'm going to get back an Ill-Gotten Gains for sure. Cabal Ritual, and I think I just get back Brain. Oh, so here, yeah, just basically another Storm. So I'm going to cast this Ill-Gotten Gains and then get back 2 Brain Freezes. So the Storm will be, or if it's 5 right now, it'll be 8, and then 9 and 10 is 19. So that's almost 6. That's 57 cards. So. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know why I'm worried about my cards in my deck. I think I have everything I need, I think. I don't know if this was the point where I'm thinking about Planar Void and trying to play around Guy's Blessing, but I mean, he didn't have it last game, so uh, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking about. Oh, so yeah, I don't know. Are those? I have a Cabal Ritual and Lion's Eye in my hand that I just didn't cast. I don't know, like, because I have them sitting up. Or oh no, that's my. Oh sorry, that's my graveyard. It's just I have it extended so far down that it's coming into the hand cam. Okay, so those aren't in my hand. All right, that makes a lot more sense. So yeah, I'm just milling him. Yeah, so here I had said I didn't think I paid for Brain Freeze, and so then I moved my mana down. So if I'm getting ill-gotten gains, I can, and I have 1 black. So I have 5 mana total. I'll leave up a black, and then I can get, I think, just Brain Freeze, Lotus Petal, and a Cabal Ritual or something. Or because if I'm storing for 8, then it would be 9, 10, 11. That would be 19 Storm. So that should be enough to mill him out. Yeah, so I'm just asking what he's getting back with the ill-gotten gains. I guess so. The one thing is that when I kind of cast it in between milling him, he's able to get a lot different cards potentially if he has certain hate cards that might do something. I think he's tapped, or he has some Birds of Paradise, but yeah. So maybe I don't think there was a way for me to do anything. So without doing it in between. So I was just checking to make sure he didn't have anything that would really screw up my plans. But he was just getting Rancor, Tangle Wire, so those are all sorcery speed cards. So I'm in the clear just to, um, yeah, I'm just casting spells I think at this point. Cast a Hurkyl's Recall to have him pick up his artifacts. Yeah, and so here's a Storm 10 Brain Freeze. So I am successfully able to mill him out. Yeah, so I think we chat a little bit about the decks. I think he was saying that he didn't like the mana of the 3-color 3-deuce deck, so he just had the green white. But it does have the disruptive elements of like the Tangle Wire, and it gets to play Mishra's Factory, so it does have some bonuses of just staying those 2 colors. So he's showing an Aura Silence and I don't know what the other card. 2 Aura Silence, Anka Mishra, and I don't know what those other cards are. So that was the first match that I played in the January Premodern Monthly Open, and I was able to 2-1 and brain freeze my opponent out. So stay tuned. I know the next match I also didn't really like the audio, so I'm going to try and do it the same way. But once again, let me know how you like the commentary as compared to just the video when I just do it in play. If you like it a lot more, then maybe it's something I'll do in the future. But if it's pretty much the same to you, I will probably just continue just playing and uploading them because it's a lot less work for me. But so if you could give me some feedback, I appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you soon.